Space. The word itself takes us to infinite possibilities and mysteries. Today, we are going to tell you the story of a woman who not only touched the frontiers of space, but also inspired the world with her courage and determination. This is the story of Sunita Williams, an astronaut, a leader, and an inspiration. Sunita Williams was born on September 19, 1965, in the U.S. state of Ohio. Her father, Dr. Deepak Pandya, was of Indian descent, while her mother, Ursuline Bani Pandya, was of Slovenian descent. Sunita's childhood was spent in a multicultural family, where she experienced a unique blend of Indian and American culture. Sunita had a keen interest in sports and adventure since childhood. She was always into swimming, running, and outdoor activities. Her father, who was a neurosurgeon, always encouraged her to pursue her dreams, no matter how old she was. Sunita was the youngest child in the family. The early years of the girl's biography, whom relatives affectionately called Suni and Sonka, the Slovenian version of her name, were spent in the city of Nidam. Now the astronaut considers this settlement to be her small homeland. Pandya received her education at the U.S. Naval Academy, and in 1995 she graduated from the Florida Institute of Technology, located in Melbourne, USA. Since 1987, the Ohio native has been in military service. At the age of 24, the American of Indian-Slovenian descent completed basic training as a combat helicopter pilot. In 1990, Sunita's unit was transferred to the Persian Gulf Zone. Williams' crew participated in the preparation of the operation to liberate Kuwait from the army of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein. After the end of the active combat phase, the girl flew over the territory of northern Iraq, delivering humanitarian aid to Kurdish refugees. Later, she was involved in the elimination of the devastating consequences of Hurricane Andrew in Florida. Sunita spent several years in the test pilot school, worked as an instructor. She had extensive piloting experience, was considered one of the most qualified female pilots in the U.S. Navy. In August 1998, the American was selected as an astronaut candidate and began training at the Lyndon Johnson Space Center in Texas. Before her confirmation, the Ohio native served in the military in the Northern Mariana Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Cosmonautics. Williams' first flight to the International Space Station took place in 2006, where she spent 195 days in space. During this period, Sunita went into outer space 4 times, beating the previous record set by Catherine Thornton. During one of the spacewalks, the American had an incident. Her camera detached from her spacesuit. In 2012, Suni returned to the ISS, replacing Russian Gennady Padalka as the station commander. This time, the American spent almost 127 days in orbit and went into outer space 3 times, setting another record. Williams' achievements were beaten a few years later by NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson. Later, the veteran of 2 space missions became a participant in a program to develop private spacecraft. Thanks to the competition, it was planned to launch several projects to deliver astronauts to the ISS. In 2018, Williams was one of the candidates to join the crew of Boeing's CIS-100 Starliner. Personal life of Sunita Williams. Sunita met her future husband Michael Williams while studying at the Naval Academy. In an interview, the female astronaut said that she was happy in her personal life. Together with her husband, she enjoyed cycling, swimming, and snowboarding. Another hobby of hers was archery. On April 16, 2007, the Ohio native became the first person to run a marathon in space. Sunita, as a participant in the Boston Marathon, covered the distance in 4 hours and 24 minutes. Her action was covered in detail in the media. The astronaut was actively supported by her colleagues in orbit. During the race, other crew members treated her to oranges. 5 years later, Sunita set another unique achievement. She became the first person to participate in a triathlon competition while in space. A simulator was specially designed for her, which allowed her to imitate human activity in a pool. The astronaut covered the distance in 1 hour and 48 minutes. Williams is a religious person, professes Hinduism. During her flights, she took copies of Sanskrit texts with her. Michael and Sunita do not have children. The couple plan to adopt a child in The future. What metamorphoses happened to NASA astronauts during 286 days of captivity? Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams returned to Earth after 9 months of captivity in space. During this time, their bodies underwent significant changes. On Wednesday morning, the Crew Dragon spacecraft returned from the International Space Station with tortured astronauts on board. 59-year-old Butch Wilmore and 62-year-old Sunita Williams were sent into Earth orbit on June 5 for some 8 days, but ended up spending 286 in space. And all because the Boeing Starliner spacecraft that delivered them to the ISS suffered an irreparable malfunction. The astronauts were literally pulled out of Elon Musk's Crew Dragon on stretchers. But this is standard procedure. In gravity, Butch and Sunita will have to relearn how to walk due to weakened muscles. They had also lost a lot of weight. Their faces looked haggard, and Sunita Williams' hair had turned noticeably gray. Engines failed in the Boeing Starliner. According to the Daily Mail, they now face a long rehabilitation, and their health may allegedly deteriorate significantly. The article notes that even serious illnesses, including cancer, are not excluded. Doctors will now conduct the necessary medical tests at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, but signs of a serious deterioration in their physical condition are already noticeable. The newspaper claims that with a long stay in space, astronauts' vision may deteriorate significantly, and problems with cognitive abilities may arise. Their muscles may atrophy, bone tissue may become less dense, and this may lead to fractures. The astronauts who returned home could also have been negatively affected by the extreme level of space radiation. It is estimated that during a week on the ISS, astronauts usually receive a dose equivalent to a year's radiation on Earth. According to NASA, aggressive space radiation can increase the risk of developing cancer, damage to the central nervous system, bone loss, and cardiovascular diseases. However, Ivan Moiseev, scientific director of the Moscow Space Club, told Metro that the devil is not as black as he is painted. 9 months is not really very long, the expert says. Astronauts often practice long journeys into space, which last even longer. I don't think that there can be really serious consequences for the astronauts' health, the expert explained. He recalled that many Russian cosmonauts spent much more time on the ISS, and such expeditions had almost no effect on their health. According to Moiseev, the astronauts at the station were not in any danger. All safety requirements were met. I think they were even happy to have the opportunity to stay in space longer, laughs Moiseev. The astronauts themselves have said this more than once. In the end, they were able to admire space to their heart's content. Sunita Williams also faced many challenges in her personal life. Her husband, Michael J. Williams, is also a pilot. Both have created a balance between their career and personal life. Sunita has always found support in her family and friends, which helped her fulfill her dreams. Sunita not only achieved achievements in space, but she was also active in social service. She participated in many programs to inspire youth in the field of education and science. Sunita Williams' story teaches us how important it is to dream and fulfill them. Not only did she touch the frontiers of space, but she proved that any goal, no matter how big, can be achieved with hard work and determination. So friends, this was the inspirational story of Sunita Williams. If you like this video, like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We will keep bringing such inspirational stories for you.